I put out the first two of our moving kicking sets. Again, they're a transition from just simply standing kick. And before you do something in a form, let's talk about Xingyi Dragon, which takes a little bit more coordination. So these are pretty intermediate. So we have 5 kicks, and I put the first 2 down. The first 2, front kick, instep, right? So now we're going to go side kick. So my first move, if I'm going to start with my left, is I step 45 and I'm pass. Okay, I'm passing a strike, and I'm also going to hit towards the lower ribs. Okay, hit, kick, back, and then I set down. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. When we kick, we don't go here and fall. Because if you look from the side, when I kick and fall, there's a whole lot of distance that I'm gaining momentum, but I'm out of control. It's basically like Christmas for the other guy. So we always try to kick, control, and then I'll set down. Alright? Just a thought. It's also a whole lot harder on your balance and your stabilizing muscles, which is always good. So anyways, these are faster. For this kicking set, the movements are a little quicker. So when I'm stepping, okay, but that's just the method of these. When I showed this other one, the instep kick, those were slower and more power movements. So they each kind of have a little bit of a theme. Anyways, when I pass and when I hit the lower ribs, what I'm trying to get, if I'm the opponent who's throwing the movement, when you hit those lower ribs, the body will kind of do this, and the front leg will straighten. Okay? Something we talked about tonight is that when the knee is bent, any impact on the side, and the leg will turn, right? Which is dissipating your force. But when you hit, especially here, the body will kind of arc away from it. This straightens. Straight leg cannot dissipate as much force, so basically means that more damage is done with whatever you land. Okay? Any type of kick, if the leg can't get rid of the energy, it goes straight to damage. Anyways, so hit, kick, hit, kick. And again, fast rabbit hits. These aren't power, it's just there. Okay? You want to try and get them fast. Just remember, fast and quick. Anyways, the fourth one is our back 45 kick. Okay? Very, very simple. But you don't really want to start training yourself for people sneaking up behind you. It's a bad mentality. I mean, if all of your applications start with, there's some guy back here, I notice him, and I kick him. What that's saying is someone walked up behind you and you didn't notice them. You should be paying attention, right? So obviously this does happen. I'm not knocking it or insulting anybody. But what I'm saying is that when you're setting up techniques that you are going to train and you're going to make your habit, you don't ever want to start off at a disadvantage. It's a mental thing. It makes you be a little bit more creative with your techniques. So especially like this one behind me, you have to be a little bit more creative to be able to use this and be in the dominant position. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate. Again, we're going to step 45, and I'm going to use something called an asking hand, which is a soft catch. It's not a big hard block. The reason for that is if I'm going to try and grab, if you block something very hard and fast, the puncher's first instinct, and you can ask any striker, their punch stops the second you make heavy contact with it, and it starts to retract so the other one can fire. Natural reaction. Everybody does it. But when you make a soft connection where you just kind of hear, and I've just made connection with the arm, it takes them a hair second longer before they start pulling it back. So here, and I can grab. I'm trying to sneak it in is what I'm doing. I'm trying not to trigger their reflex. So anyways, I'm going to step 45 and ask straight. Turn and grab. This is going to come up and grab here. And then I'm going to push step. And I'm going to pull. Okay? What I'm doing is I'm grabbing grab somebody, I'm stepping this way and snatching them this way, and you would be amazed when you do this, even against a resisting opponent, how much distance you guys cover. You both cover. You will wind up 45 degrees behind them, especially if you snatch them hard. So, here, grab, kick, chamber, step. Okay? Another good point about this one, when you do these grabs, wherever you grab, if it holds, that's perfect. But what you want to try and go for is when I ask and I turn here, I don't want to try and grab up here. And a lot of older people, a lot of more experienced people will know this. I'm trying to catch here. And the taper of the arm, even, if I pull really hard, the way that the wrist is tapered, I'm not going to slide off. Whereas if I grab here, see my hand sliding with just a little bit of pull? So I want to get here. Now, you're wondering about the elbow. The elbow, if you look at the joints, they bulge out at the ends. Okay? All your joints do it. That's where you want to try and get your fingers around. You don't want to try and grab the tricep muscle because same as here, you'll slip. So grab on the top end of the joint. The joint structure itself gives you a handle to pull against to where your hands won't slide. And the student I've got here tonight, there's a little bit of size difference between us, but even he was able to get a solid grip on my arm. And I've got big arms, I've got 22-inch arms. So when he grabs here, even flexed, a little bit of flex actually, you can still get a handle on that. I know I kind of detoured there for a second, but it's an important point. So again, here, grab, pull, kick. Another important point is you don't pull to the side. You pull down. Think rowing a boat or pull boat, like you'd see maybe in Venice. Reason for that, if I pull here, I use the serratus muscles, okay? Which are great muscles, they're strong, but if I pull here, my abdominals engage. Much stronger, just naturally stronger than the serratus muscles. So that's why we pull down. Another point, my arms are straight. I don't pull from here because I don't get as much power, but when my arms are out and I pull, I'm pulling with my body. Provides a much stronger pull with less effort. And it's harder for people to resist it if you're here and you pull with your body versus if I'm here and I do this. And I think you can see that looks kind of goofy as you're watching this. Anyways, the fourth one. Fifth one's kind of easy. It's a little bit tricky at first, but when you get the hang of it, it just really flows. Step straight. And I'm going to come in and block. Now this hand can be here, but you want it to be up. And I'll tell you why here in a second. So when I step, block, and I should have explained that a little bit, this is a 7-star kick. It comes from praying mantis. I know of at least 3 Bagua systems that have it, and other external styles. So it's a very common kick. You see it all over. But it's here. Okay? And what it is it's either a very low kick or it's a sweep towards a lead foot. So anyways, I'll step and I'll press. Okay, this is not a push movement like this. My body turns again so I can bring my body into play. Okay? Here. Okay? And it doesn't have to be some big crazy turn. We talked tonight about the farther your hands go out away from your body, the weaker they are. So really, I'm pushing about this far. That's about as far as I can comfortably go without overextending myself or doing this, which really kind of puts me in a bad balance position. So what I want to stay here, okay, stay about that far so I'm not starting to lean or move. Let's see. A good point for this, you've got to watch this arc. Okay, this is really important. Something I talk about a lot is that when you're applying force on somebody Anybody can resist force on one linear plane. You push back, push to the side. Anyone can stop that. It's no big deal. What the body's not built for dealing with is force on multiple planes. So instead of straight, back, or to the side, I'm pushing here. And you'll find that if you play with any, you use it on anybody, this is much harder for them to defend against. Okay, similar idea here. I'm pressing down, and then I'm going to the sides as well. So I'm pressing down the side here, and throwing back. And you'll almost get a flinging action. I'll make contact, okay? And this will fling back. And I know I let that one go out a little far, but I was trying to exaggerate the throw. And that's in application. That's not in, in form. In form, let me go back and refresh, just because people are sticklers for detail. Here, there. Here, there. Okay? Here, there. That's the practice. But if I'm going to exaggerate the movement, I'm making contact here, and I'm flinging that arm. What that does is, if I'm the one throwing the punch again, my hand's going here. When this arm gets flung, you see how my body shifted. I took weight off the front, makes it easier to sweep. So here, and I'm throwing my own arm if you didn't notice that. But watch how it changes how I stand. It puts me in a weird, twisted balance position, which basically means I'm hanging out over this hip a little bit where I've got no support. So you tap this leg, make it bend, I'm falling over. It's an example of arms and legs working together. So I can use less force when I'm doing two things at once than if I'm doing one and then I'm trying to sweep. I think everyone watching will see that that's not efficient, but if I'm here, I'm kicking this way, throwing this way at the same time. It's a pretty relaxed movement. If you play with the applications, you can go quickly and still not have to force it. So anyways, those are the last three of our kicking drills. Hope you like them, and have a good night.